Now we know there's an issue, not just off the first, like, blank thing.
Well, in my defense, I think, and I actually pride myself in doing this, I'm a good judgment of character, and I'm pretty good at diffusing the situation, and I'll be able to, like, read through the fine print and kind of figure out whether or not they're trying to, like, hit on me or, try to talk to me or whatever, if it's a flirting thing. Like, I'll be very upfront and honest. I always tell people, I have a boyfriend if I start to feel like a conversation is going in a certain direction, especially whatever it may be. Working in the club business, you get that a lot if you go out. I mean, here in Hollywood, guys they're crazy. I sometimes I'm walking on a street and then I have some guy come up to me and it's like, no, I don't want to be bothered. I just tell him, like, I don't talk to strangers, and I keep it moving because you can't leave the door open for anyone to come on in.
No.
And I'll be honest too.
Arr.
If I found a girl, this actually happened to
happened.
David and I.
And
this
it came from the reality rock show.
This is an interesting story. I actually want to talk about this story. David and I, again, we were at the Reality Rocks conference, and we met someone who wanted to take some pictures and interview us. Now, this woman clearly knew that David and I were together. Mm-hmm. Somehow, and she even asked him. I believe she asked us right there. She took a picture with us. All was good. She was very nice. And then she starts hitting him up on Twitter. And I'm like, that's peculiar. Like, she kind of searched for him. She found him on Twitter. And I just let it go. I'm like, all right, this is okay. And then she starts hitting him up on Facebook. She's not hitting me up. She's hitting him up. She knew we were together. She knew we were in a relationship. And then she's, like, private messaging him, asking, hey, are you really with that girl? Or is that just for the show? Are you really, and trying to, like, hang out with them. At that point, I let it go so much, I had to shut it down. I said, David doesn't need any more friends, hussy.
You did let her.
I got your number, hussy.
Then she tried to block, and we had to block her, and it was
we had to block her. Well, she was a crazy pants. Look, it's not just guys that could be crazy. Girls could be crazy too. But you got it. And I did it in a diplomatic way. I wasn't threatening. I just told him, like, David doesn't need any more friends. He's in a relationship, and to be honest, I think that someone that's trying to infiltrate a relationship is the lowest of the low. And I let her know. I said, go off, go on, be a hussy somewhere else.
Well,
this is my man.
Well, what about this playmate that shot her boyfriend in the back?
It's a new story.
9 years she's getting.
Yeah, she's getting 9 years.
And
talking
she's an
about
old
more
playmate.
Crazy women. Yeah, she was a Playmate of the Year in 1968, which by Playboy standards, that's like the highest of the high, unless you consider sex slave. Girlfriends.
Oh, she's got hepatitis.
Yeah, his hepatitis. He did not say that.
Yes, she's got hepatitis.
Oh, you're so funny. Yeah, well, apparently she was a Playmate in 1968. It wasn't disclosed whether or not she was one of Hef's girlfriends. We know he kind of does girlfriend them all. But she shot her husband in the back because she accused him of cheating on her.
Yeah, wow. And
she's
old.
66 years old. She's 66 years old.
Sorry for you 66-year-olds out there. It's just a little weird.
She lives here.
For
what is she?
A playmate to be that old. You just don't think of it that way.
Well, see, that's interesting. And she still considers herself a playmate, although she did go under a different name while she was actually a playmate. And she did some small work in films and whatnot, back in her day, I guess you can say. To me, it's interesting, when people use their title as a playmate. Like, what is a playmate? Sounds a little creepy. When I think of, like, playmate, I think of, like, a play date for little children, like, little kids playing in the sandbox, like playing tag.
That's what they called those toys, were playmates. Like, they called
Yeah, I think the Hef is playing off that a little bit, the whole, like, young, hot girl, kind of thing, like, young child, like that, the toddlers and tiaras that we talked about last week, where they had the 3-year-old dressed like the hooker. Mm-hmm. I think Hef is trying to capitalize off of that idea of the playmate, a young little naked girl, ready for you and waiting, I guess. But yeah, she shot him.
I have to say, I thought at first when you told me about this story, because Erika brought me up on this story, I thought it was my math teacher. She was a playmate.
No.
Yes, my math teacher, my senior year, I was in senior math, which is like below algebra. It's for the dumb seniors, right? It was just, I just did what I could to, like, get my degree in high school, right?
Which Diploma. We are not advocating. Stay in school,
children. Stay in school. But anyway, so long story short, Miss Langevin was a former playmate, and it was so creepy because she was like playmate 1981. I forgot.
See, now this is interesting.
And so one of the senior pranks one year was they took her Playboy picture out of Playboy and photocopied them and put them all over her, like the math building.
Wow, so she was just naked all over your skull.
Naked, the whole bush, everything. The hot pocket was out.
The bush was loose. That's very interesting.
And so when you said this,
because
it's the same, it's the same, like she might have been in the same magazine as this girl. I'm not joking. It was like 81.
Well, it was about, a 16-year age difference. I believe she was Playmate of the Year in like 68 or whatever the math is there. But I want to talk about this. So you're saying that, and I'm not judging, and sometimes I feel like I come across a little harsh on the whole Playboy thing, even though I've said that in the past. I think it's a little bit of a cult.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not judging. If that's what you want to do, then by all means, God bless. Bless your little heart.
The hot pocket out, put it out there.
Put it out there, I guess. But it raises an interesting kind of topic, because, well, what happens when you're not 21 years old anymore and you still have naked pictures? Like, how is, your future mate going to feel about that? What about your job? There's been a lot of women who have posed where Playboy kind of hurts their career. For me, I find it interesting knowing how strict school districts are, that they let someone who I don't know that it was okay for her to pose in Playboy.
Well, it was a long
school
time
districts
ago.
are very, and I'm saying everything should be equal opportunity, and it is what it is. But when children are involved, it's a little bit different. And, apparently, everyone in the school knew about it. There were naked pictures of her posted all over the place.
I gotta, respond to your point. It actually is kind of creepy with the whole Playboy thing, because there's stuff out there. I guess that's why if you're a woman, you might as well just be a stripper, because nobody will ever find out really what happened except your customers, right?
Yeah, well, I think that they will. I think that they'll find out. And I'm not, we're not advocating women to be strippers. That's my whole thing. I think that, see, it's weird with me. With Playboy, to me, it's like they're saying, oh, it's part of the sexual revolution. I look at it kind of as exploiting. Hef just runs his little tight ship, and he has them on. I don't see how it's helping women's equality in any way, because at the end of the day, you are a sexualized subject, and that's just what it is. And, we live in the real world, and it's fine. People like to look at naked chicks, and they like to look at porn, and it is what it is. But I don't see it helping women's equality or women's lib in any way. So I don't really think that they should even talk about that. And the whole stripper thing, you're so crazy. They'll find out. We live in a world where everything is on the web, and, if your teacher was a stripper, you'd probably find that out too.
Right. I want to know what you guys think. 912-373-TALK. Give us a call right now. We're taking the open phone calls right now. 912-373-TALK. Talk to Erika and I.
Now, speaking of another crazy lady, we've come to the part in the show where we're going to talk about my weasel of the week. Yes, boo. So, Serena Williams is back in the press. Now, I'm sure everybody knows, because it's always a big deal every year, the U.S. Open is going on. It's been going on for about a month now. And Serena Williams is back in the press because she has had another temper tantrum. Now, Serena is my weasel because it's like, what is wrong with you? She's always had a bad temper. She's running around. She's calling people names. She's yelling at the refs. She's yelling at the line woman. She's yelling at her her opponents, and now she was fined. And they said
$2,000, right? $2,000.
Which in Serena Williams' world is peanuts. That's like a few cents for us, because they're saying that she's making $1.4 million just from this tournament alone. But she went crazy on this ref. She basically threatened him. She said, "If I see you in a hallway, you better look the other way." She called the ref a loser. She just went off, and for me, she is in such an incredible position. She's such a great tennis player. It's just not classy. Like, why are you going there? You're a great role model. She's my weasel. It's not classy.
Well, he's pretty crazy. She and her brother too. Her
sister.
The brothers. The sisters are
Venus.
really, really, really nice, genuine people
No.
who
She has a
rough
bad
around
attitude.
on the court and pull you around with they've won so many titles, and I'm surprised that they're still even around. They must be taking some human growth hormone. I mean, have you seen the size of their arms?
She's bigger than you, David.
I know.
She's bigger than a lot of men. I mean, she is a big girl. She's very muscular. She's very big, and she's a great player. But she needs to tone the temper down. She needs to take it down a few notches. There's no reason why she should be calling people names and going crazy. I mean, she's just not a good role model if she's running around saying that and doing that.
No, and I just honestly, they're not inviting to watch. They're not fun to watch.
Oh, they're good. When they're good, and they're on. I mean,
you like to watch the Venus?
Look, I don't necessarily.
Twins
I'll be honest.
Play tennis.
I don't necessarily watch,
they are not
tennis,
fun to watch.
But it's a hard sport, and they're very athletic, and you can't take that away from them. I mean, she might be on steroids. I don't know. She's making a lot of money, and she's very talented. So you can't take that. But she has a bad. I don't know. She has a bad rep. She has a bad attitude. That's what she has.
And you know what? Who wants to watch somebody with a bad attitude?
Well, that's my point.
It's like watching some of the Yankees. They all have bad attitudes, and they think they're so.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
The Yankees are horrible.
I don't think the Yankees are horrible.
I'm a West Coaster.
That's fine. I don't think the Yankees are horrible. I think that in any sport team, or anything really in general, you can't just basically say that all the Yankees or all of this. I mean, there are specific players that run around and have egos. I know people in the apartment next door that have egos. People have egos everywhere. It just is what it is.
Egos central.
But Serena Williams, she needs to take it down a few notches. She's my weasel.
Well, why don't we do, my train wreck of the week?
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, my car, which I named Blue Balls.
Poor Blue Balls.
I know, Blue Balls. She's a blue Honda Accord. Long story short, I bought her off this guy. He sold it to me as is. It didn't pass smog, so it sat on the street, and I have nowhere to park it because I don't have a parking spot here at my spot. Long story short, the cops towed it. I didn't find out till 3 days later. When I go to find out about it, it's already up to $400 in fees, and because it's not registered, my Grumble, train wreck of the week.
Are you the train wreck of the week?
Maybe, but I am so mad at tow yards, okay? Police impound yards. You know why? They charge you for towing the car. I didn't know this till after I paid the $600 today, that long story short, there was even a release fee. A $115 release fee. What are you doing to release it? The guy's got to print me out the paperwork and walk me to the car, and I got to put the keys in myself. I basically paid for myself to go to the car and start it up and leave. It's been a horrible process. I had to go to the police station twice. I had to do a bunch of stupid stuff. And then I go to, smog it again today. It didn't pass.
I know. The moral of the story is, kids, don't get your car impounded. And the sad thing is, I felt so bad for poor Blue Balls. I just kept thinking of him locked up all alone in the desolate impound lot, all scared and wanting to come back home and not knowing where we were.
He had a chipped tooth too because his left tire popped from a nail too, and so he had the spare on.
Poor Blue Balls was left all alone, and but you were able to fix it. But I agree. I mean, they really rack up all those fees. It's crazy.
Oh, I had the most expensive day I've had in a long time. I could have paid my rent. You know what I mean?
Know.
And that's what really ticks me off. And I own the car. So now guess what? I'm going to be selling the car.
Sorry, Blue Balls, you're going to be sold.
Well, and and so it goes a lot more. It just shows that the cops right now are going to do anything that they can to make money. Any local government, especially, they all need money. There's bills for them. People don't realize it's not like all the money's just sitting around. Look at the Postal Service is about to go down.
I know.
Local police stations, guess what? The only way they stay in business is doing exactly what they just did to me.
Well, I have a gripe. My gripe isn't necessarily the police, because obviously they're there for a reason. There are so many good police officers, so I don't think that some of the bad ones should tarnish the reputation of the whole. But my gripe is the parking enforcement people. I mean, they're like little ninjas. They come out of nowhere and they find you in your car and they write you up and they don't care. And, even if you catch them and you're just in time, they're writing you a ticket. There's nothing you can do about it.
We were in Manhattan Beach in Erika's Mercedes, and we were on a little hill. and they say curb your wheels, right?
We didn't know what that meant.
We didn't even know what that. Do you know what curb your wheels mean? I don't know. Maybe we're stupid and we don't know. Long story short, so you have to turn the wheels and put them on the curb. I guess that's pretty simple.
I think that's
well, we got a ticket for that. $48.
$48, I know. And it was interesting because specifically in Manhattan Beach, it's like they have their own rules and their own laws, and that's not necessarily like the laws of California as a whole. So if you happen to be traveling to a new city, how are you supposed to really know the new laws? And like the parking enforcement are bad. I mean, they're making a lot of money, and parking tickets are so expensive here in California. I mean, and they have, it's like New York. In New York City, they do that alternate side of the street parking for like street sweeping and things. And I mean, if you get one of those tickets where you're parked on the wrong side of the road, it's like $100. And if you don't pay it, look, everyone's going through hard times. It is a very difficult, economic situation that we're all living in. People don't have $100 to go throw away on parking tickets and things, If you don't pay it, then it like doubles and it triples, and it becomes, gets up to these exorbitant amounts.
And remember when we went to the automotive detective at the police department? The girl goes to me because I wanted to basically, what did I want to do? I wanted a hearing to give my point across because I thought I was unlawfully towed. Yeah. She says to me right to my face, and she was just in normal civilian clothes, she goes, well, you're just wasting tax dollars for all of Americans, right? For me to do this hearing.
She was trying to give him like the guilt trip because basically the whole hearing had to do with probability, right?
Yeah, they had a probable cause to tow it.
Yeah, and they did. Technically,
we went through the hearing. Yeah.
They did. It's, it's a loophole in the system, and it really stunk. And David and I, we were actually very calm, and we tried to plead our case, and we tried to do everything. They were not hearing it. The whole hearing was probable cause, and technically, because you didn't have the sticker or whatever you had, they technically did have probable cause, but you know how it is. It's all loopholes, and it's just fine after fine after fine, and there's nothing you can do. And when your car actually does get towed, there's nothing you can do. You can't talk them down. The New Yorker in me wants to negotiate and kind of like wheel and deal and talk down the fines and do this and, bat my eyelashes and, try to talk it down. But it didn't work. They weren't hearing it. They were like, nope.
And what my gripe also is so when I go today to finally get this thing released, the same civilian clothed person was in a uniform. And it was funny when she told me I was wasting tax dollars because she was in the back eating her Quiznos sub sandwich with her feet up in civilian clothes on Friday.
Well, I think the reason why she was a little angry and gave you an attitude is because she might have been the one that wrote you the ticket. What do you think about that?
No, it was some dude named Alejandro something.
Alejandro.
I saw the report today. Yeah, total guy.
Well, it's funny bringing up parking tickets. This is a story that I read. Apparently, Chris Brown had 117 parking tickets. How do you even get 117? We're complaining about like 5, and we're complaining about impound. Imagine how much money that would be. Oh, but don't worry, folks, because he got out of it. Yeah, he got 95 of them dismissed.
When you beat girls for a living, you kind of get the whole thing of where it's like, I'm just going to park wherever I want to park, and if anybody messes with me, I'll beat you in the face.
I know. This paints a very clear picture of me, of what I kind of think Chris Brown's personality is, between the Rihanna beating and the not paying 117 parking tickets.
Crazy.
I think he's an egomaniac.
No, I mean,
how do you go around town and just parking wherever you want, and parking in handicap, and parking over here, and not carrying, and then not paying the tickets? I guess he's like, whatever, I'm Chris Brown, bitch.
Yeah, little weird, he's...
Doesn't seem too nice.
No, but what about this ABC story? We have a good ABC story for all you guys. George Stephanopoulos just got on Good Morning America within the last year. He's been doing it with Robin Roberts. Guess what? This dude, Josh Elliott, ESPN dude, he's now like a little anchor for GMA. Looks like ABC thinks he's got a better look and better chemistry. I feel bad for George Stephanopoulos. He tried his butt off to get to this spot.
And by better look, they mean that he's not a midget.
Or an elf.
Because he's not an elf. Because apparently, and I'm poking fun, but I'm not, not trying to say anything mean about him. I think George Stephanopoulos did a great job, but they're saying because George is 5'6", or 5'6" with heeled shoes on, and Robin Roberts is about 5'10", this new guy that's coming into town is about 6'4", and they think that aesthetically it looks better for it looks better for the show.
And that's what ABC is all about. Looks.
The aesthetics, the looks, everything that, well, it's funny because David and I know that ABC loves the tall guys because look who won our show, True Beauty. Taylor. He's 6'4".
On The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, they have like a certain like weird skewed look. And if you always know it's the most psycho weird people that they pick. And it's like
you mean for The Bachelor?
Or anybody on ABC.
We were on ABC.
Well, I'm saying that they were the redheaded stepchildren of ABC.
David and I guess I was just happy to be part on a network. I was like, this is great. I'm on a reality show again.
It's like this. It's funny because Disney owns ABC, right? And then. One of my gripes too has been ABC Family. You know how they have that weird guy who does the voiceover for ABC Family.
Well, ABC tries to portray a certain image. They try to portray a certain image
with an undertone of sex.
Yeah,
and
but then they want to put it out there, but then they don't want to necessarily admit that they are. So they're trying to kind of do it like in this weird subconscious way. The same thing with Dancing with the Stars. With Chaz Bono, they put him on, and there was all this controversy, and they just really kind of, they had all these ratings, and everyone was talking about it, but they didn't really necessarily defend Chaz. I mean, I have my own opinions.
Or the soap operas, they didn't help them out at all, and they're trying to throw them all on internet TV now.
Yeah, I feel bad for George Stephanopoulos, and the funny thing is, since he's been on the show, he's been on Good Morning America for about a year now. His ratings are up. So why are you trying to get rid of the guy? Just trade him in for a taller guy. Poor George has probably been facing this his whole life.
Well, Robin Roberts is horrible. She's like the worst anchor on TV. I do not like watching. She, as a guy and as somebody hip, chill, cool, the last person on earth I want to watch is Robin Roberts. Throw her out the window.
They're not looking for your demographic.
Well, throw off, what is the demographic of Good Morning America?
Of ABC? It's not us. That's why they
horrible.
Don't care what we think. They don't care our opinion.
It's like throw up.
It's probably, what would you say it is? 30 or 35 to 55, probably women, Good Morning America, I would imagine, That's why they want to...
Housewife women who have it easy.
What?
Housewife women.
What's with all these sexist comments with women? Women are strippers, housewives have it easy. Housewives do not have it easy, David.
I'm trying to say that the girls who watch this show usually have it because everything that they push is housewives. Sexual tension
Housewives?
Stuff for 35 to 55-year-old women at
You have to
home.
remember what the demographic for our show was. What did they say? It was 25, and they were geared towards women. I mean, look.
It was 18 to 35 women.
And I'm sure that's probably about what the Bachelorette demographic is.
Women.
That's about the demographic of Bachelorette. To me,
and just to back myself up, I'm not being sexist about the stripper thing. I was saying it's better to be a stripper and not have all your stuff out there than to be a Playboy model and to go get a job later on.
I think it's better to be neither. But who am I to judge?
But I was just comparing and contrasting. There's one better than another. And I'm not saying they're both great, but I'm saying, honestly, when it comes to a school teacher, they would never know if you were a stripper or not unless you said so.
They would find out because, it's funny. I had a girlfriend who actually worked in a school district. She worked as a teacher. She was a special education teacher. Intelligent girl, articulate girl, great personality. Some of her fellow teachers found out because, the teachers gossip just as much as the kids do. They all sit down in the lunchroom and they eat their lunches and they all talk about the same thing. Someone found out that the new teacher in town, who happened to be my friend, had worked at a bar. Well, they took working in a bar, bartending, as being a stripper, and it went around and everyone was gossiping. So, it gets out there. And she wasn't a stripper, by the way. She was an intelligent, educated, perfectly articulate woman, and she just got a bad rap because some people were jealous.
Well,
Sad.
Relationship question time on Beauty and the Grumble. Which one do you want to go with first?
Well, we got a couple interesting questions. We did have some people write us anonymously, which we always love. If you have a relationship question that you would like answered, you can either call us on air. That number is 912-373-TALK. That's TALK. Or you can hit us up, message us. We're on Twitter. That's twitter.com Beauty and Grumble. We're also on Facebook. We have a new Facebook fan page that we're very excited about. Message us. But someone would like to remain anonymous, and basically they wanted to know, can exes be friends? What's your take on this?
Well, none of them have ever worked in my life. They're more of acquaintances. Like, I might randomly, I don't even know, honestly. They've all trickled away. But I think it's a very hard subject. Seinfeld is the perfect example. They were in love at one time. They broke up. They remained best friends. Guess what? At the end of the show, they get right back together.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that if
they end up in jail, but they were going to end up back together.
If an ex remains in your life, that eventually, the flame can be rekindled?
Yeah, you're always rekindling that flame every time. You're reminiscing on old psychological
emotional attachments and whatnot.
Exactly. You can never let go of those in the mind.
I could see that. To me, it's like if there's been, I think it's a case-by-case basis. If it's like someone that you dated back in the day and there's no, there's no feelings or no emotions attached, then I think that maybe it could be possible. But it all depends on your current mate. If your current mate has an issue with it, and you love and you respect your current mate, and you see a future in your current mate, and it hurts their feelings, then I think that you should probably move forward without your ex, because that could be really detrimental and hurtful in your current relationship. So if you think that it's like an unhealthy situation, and always speak up, always be honest. Like for instance, if you had an issue, if you had someone who was in your life that for whatever reason I felt, whether or not it was threatened over, right, or if I felt uncomfortable about, or if I felt like there was inappropriate behavior, I would want to talk to you about it, as I would want you to talk to me.
And that's what communication is always key in all these issues. But like I said, it goes really deep with your triggering old patterns that you had before, and you can never get rid of those, because you'll always remember, whenever it's anybody you meet, you always remember the first meeting. You always remember all these little things.
So you're saying the good times.
Old things will always come up. It doesn't matter if you're emotionally detached or not. You're actually, whether you like it or not, you're bringing it up. It's like you say you're never going to smoke cigarettes again, but but once in a while there's no more emotional attachment. I'm not going to do it anymore, so I'm just going to have one once in a while.
Oh, I see. So you're saying is a slippery slope. I can see it. I can see it from that point. I really can. I think if you're being honest about it and there are no emotional attachments, for me, I'm just the kind of person that's cut and dry. Like, I say what I feel. When I'm done, I am done. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I just cut it off and I keep it moving. But if it's detrimental to your current relationship, and if you really have those kind of weird triggers or emotional attachments and stuff, you need to just kind of cut them loose.
Well, I
and
think
hope that they don't stalk you.
When you're single, it's easy to do that. I was friends with a lot of my exes when I was single. But
yeah, because you're probably hooking up with them while you were single.
No, not at all. Honestly, not at all.
Late night booty calls.
I'm serious. Not at all. But right when you and I got together, it wasn't that I hit them up to say no. I just stopped. I in my energy source, got away from them physically, emotionally, energetically, and used any of that energy that I used to have on them on you.
And I can honestly say, as your lover, I actually appreciate that, and I really and I more than appreciate that. I'm flattered by it, and to me, that shows that you were serious about me, and that makes me feel really good. So if you care about the person you're with, you need to take their emotions into consideration first, and I think that's the key.
Yes. Well, we only got 2 minutes literally left here, so again, we are now on all digital.
Callers?
We didn't get any callers, no, but this also is a new system. But, again, we will be here now Monday and Wednesdays live, and we also are playing on other days on All Digital, but it's a Monday and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, alldigitalradio.com.
Yes, we love our new network, and we love our new time. We're going to be every Monday and Wednesday, 6 o'clock on the West Coast and 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So for all of you East Coast listeners, you get to hear us an hour earlier. And yeah, hit us up on Twitter. We're at Beauty and Grumble. That's the letter N, not the word end. That's Beauty and Grumble. We're also on Facebook. David and I also have personal Facebook profiles, or you can hit us up through the network, and we're going to be putting our videos up on YouTube.
Yeah, so you can rewatch the show on YouTube, and you can rewatch the audio and download the audio for your car and so forth on alldigitalradio.com.
Yeah, we always take videos, so you get to see us here live in the studio, David and I having our conversations, grumbling away, and then you also get to see our little pup Bambi, who's always she's our co-star, who's always kicking it in the guest couch.
Yeah, she's our intern. She put some Z's in on the couch. Well, guys, we love you guys, and we'll see you guys this Wednesday, 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening, Team Grumble.
Bye.
Bye.
Back at that time in the pioneering days, it wasn't about money. Nobody came out to get paid. We used to spend more money than we made to come out and play. It was a lot of hard work, to bring all the speakers and all that equipment out, but we just did it to play music.